Is there an alternative to WordPress that's better? I'm V Tanner and I'm an online business manager for speakers and visionaries. I work on their websites and digital marketing so that they can attract and convert more visitors to paying clients through the power of their online presence. So is there an alternative to WordPress? What are those alternatives? So first of all, why did we move to WordPress in the first instance? Well, we need to rewind back quite a few years to when the internet was in its infancy and when WordPress first came into being. Up to that point, you had a WordPress designer, you had a website designer who would code your website on their computer, and then when it was done, they tested it, they could then upload it to the server where it was situated in the cloud where anyone could access it. But if you wanted to make some changes, you had to then go back to them and they had to do the changes because it was on, the original files were on their computer. You couldn't just go in remotely to the server and change those files. It was not an easy job to do. So the web designer who designed it had it on their computer. It had to be them that did it. And then what the frustration was, what I was experiencing with my clients back in the day when I was not looking after their website, but if they had a website designer, it was the website designer who had to make changes. So if we had an event, we'd give them all the details and they would take months to make those changes partly because then they were interested more in building websites from scratch, not doing all these minor little tweaks and additions. So by the time they'd done the event, put the event on the website, it was already out of date. So that didn't help anybody. That didn't help the customer. And it gave a very unhappy experience for them with their web developer. So then when WordPress came into being, which would have been about 2005, 2003, I think, when it was first launched, but 2005 is when I first started working with it. It was great because you weren't dependent on your website designer at all. Anyone with a login could amend that website because the website was then held in the cloud. All the editing tools were there in the cloud, and anyone with a login could go in and edit it and go and add more pages, add events, whatever needed doing, tweak it. If there was a phone number that needed changing, you could change it. And at the beginning, well, the website designers were up in arms about, oh, no. WordPress is not a proper website. And to be fair, when WordPress first came into being, it was a blogging tool, but you had people like me bending it and making it suitable for a website, which is what my coaching clients back then who was selling online programs and stuff, that's what they wanted. So fast forward a few more years, WordPress has been developed. There's a whole community that create it and develop it and improve it based on feedback from everybody, so that it is a really powerful tool now, and it is built for websites and quite complex ones. You can have e-commerce on there and all sorts of functionality. And so web developers have cottoned onto this, and now there is they've realized the demand is people want to be able to amend their sites. They want to be able to add pages and blog posts and events and tweak stuff. So they've got to run with it. So now web developers are saying, yes, WordPress is the tool that you've got to use. That's the tool. If it's not WordPress, then don't touch it. But now, with all these developments, it has become a lot more complex. Back then, it was really simple to create a website. You picked a theme and you filled in all the blanks, and that was really good. But as things have evolved, it's become more complex. There's thousands and thousands of themes to choose from. The developers often have, if you want added functionality or to choose colors or whatever, then you've got to upgrade to their pro version, and then there's complications. Is it an annual fee? Are they keeping on developing it? Then you've got hundreds of plugins to add functionality, like you have WooCommerce if you want to sell products online. There's calendar functionality. There's all sorts, if you can think it, then there is a plugin for it. But what happens is, because all these different plugins are made by different people, they don't necessarily talk nicely to one another, and you can get these plugin clashes, and then a functionality will stop working, And who do you go to fix that? You know, you can be ended up being passed from pillar to post. You know, that plugin developer will be blaming other plugins that there's a clash, it's not working with, or the theme, or WordPress, or your host, and you can end up going around in circles, not knowing, nobody taking responsibility for fixing that issue. So that is like a real pain, that, you know, if you're just a simple person who wants to create a website using WordPress, it has become really complex and complicated. Add that you know, these different plugins can also add speed and make the site really, really slow. So it's become such a complex tool to use to build WordPress. I mean, I teach people how to build a WordPress site, and I make it as simple as possible, but it's becoming more and more complex. So what is the alternative? If you don't want to be spending months learning how to create a website, you just want something up quickly. And why shouldn't it be quick? You have platforms like Etsy and Facebook and all these other social media platforms where all you have to worry about is the content and putting up images. So why can't a website be like that as well? Well, there are tools now that you can use to do that. So you had tools like Wix and Squarespace, and now Constant Contact has entered into the affray as well. So the reason why I discouraged people from using Wix and Squarespace in the past is because they had these different tiers. So to get more functionality, to be able to have more pages, they would then push you on, you know, they'd get you in at a low level, and then when you wanted extra functionality or to add more pages, then you had to upgrade, and you end up paying quite a high monthly fee that you may as well pay a designer to create it in WordPress, and that you own it, and there's no other penalties. But now Constant Contact have come into the affray, and it is, you know, as a website designer, I have to also test this out, because, you know, I'm a partner of Constant Contact, and that Constant Contact has predominantly been about email marketing, but now they've added this website tool builder into their packages. It's on the lower level. So of course I have to explore it and see, well, what does it do? You know, will it work as a website? So I've built a few websites using Constant Contact's web builder tool, and I've actually been quite impressed, more than I thought I would, because it actually is really simple to create a website. With WordPress, you have to install WordPress, which is like the frame of your house, and it's a one-click install, but, you know, everything is there installed. You know, it's a bit like building a DIY house where it's pre-installed, where you have the electrics is already installed, the plumbing's already taken care of. You don't have to worry about those. It's a bit like, in website terms, you don't have to worry about the linking of pages and navigation. If you add a page, you can easily add it to the navigation and stuff like that. Then you have to add a theme. You install a theme, which is like the color scheme of it, and the layouts, different layouts that you have. Then, having done that, and you know, there's thousands to choose from. Some are premium, some are free. And so you choose one, you install it, you add your logo, you can choose your fonts. You may be able to customize what fonts and color schemes that you have, so it suits your branding. Then you have plugins, and so that's the extra functionality. So for example, you might have WooCommerce to sell products online, or there might be a calendar product. Extra securities, like having the extra padlocks and security cameras on your house. Then once you've done that, you are then ready to add your content and your images. But with Constant Contact, the web builder and the web builder tools like Wix and Squarespace, to an extent, I haven't gone through them in greater detail, you have predefined templates already available, already set up. So it's a bit like Facebook, where you create an account and you just add your products. But with the added bonus that you can actually choose your colors, you can upload your logo, you can choose a font that matches your branding, you can choose color scheme. You can either choose from their predefined, which you know will work, or if you've got branding, you can just put in your hex codes, and that's all the setting up that's involved. Then you're ready to actually put content into your site, and And that's how it should be. It should be that you're just focusing on the content, not worrying about tech working and plugins conflicting with one another, and where do you go to and setting them up and which ones do you want. It's a bit like moving into a condominium building where you pick a room and you have choice over the color schemes of your walls and everything, but all the functionality is there. You've got the the rooftop garden, you've got the swimming pool in the basement, you've even got shops down in the lower levels, you've got all the modern functionality in your kitchen that you could ever want. It's just there ready for you to use. You just have to move your stuff in, hang your pictures on the wall and put your clothes in the wardrobe. It's just there ready to move in. And that's what Constant Contact's web builder tool is like, that you just upload your content, having decided what color schemes it's going to be, uploaded your logo, put your logo, your shop sign on the front, then it's all there ready to go. So you can have a website up and running literally in a day. That's what I've done with some website builds that I've created using Constant Contact. So, and the cost of it as well, because it's part of Constant Contact's packages, it's on their lower level at £10 a month. £10 a month, that is cheaper than some of the hosting, where you just get hosting, you just get the land where your website is going to live. So it's actually a no-brainer. Of course, for Constant Contact, the incentive is that you upgrade and get the email marketing piece of it. And of course, the benefit of that is it's going to talk really nicely with the web building tool, because they've built it. It's all in one place. You don't have to go to a different place for your email marketing. It's all combined in one place. So I hope that has been helpful. Yes, there is a good alternative to WordPress where you don't have to worry about the building of it and things working together. And the other thing is updates. They drive you crazy, don't they? If you've got a WordPress website, you're ready to add some content, you go in and you see there's 15 updates that need doing, and of course don't update it without doing backups first, because if you do an update and that update breaks the site and you have no backup to roll back to, then you're stuffed. Your website is lost. So then that puts an extra, I haven't got time to do a backup now. I haven't got time to do these updates. And if you don't keep doing those updates, then you're more at risk to the site breaking, because some of these plugin developers, they're a bit sneaky in that if you don't do an update, it can end up breaking the site because you haven't done an update. So, they're almost like back in the olden days where you're over the barrel of a developer. So with Constant Contact, all of that is taken care of by Constant Contact. If there's one place for support, you don't have to worry about, who do I go to fix this problem? Constant Contact will just fix it. They will deal with it, and the support is pretty amazing anyway. So there are some real pluses to be had. Yes, there is reduced not functionality but layouts on Constant Contact, but they're there for a reason. They're to keep you within the constraints of what makes good website design practice. So you can't go wrong. You can't with WordPress, you're kind of left, it's free reign. You can design anything you like, but if you're not well versed in what makes good design practice, you could end up designing something that's a disaster. That's a horrible experience for your users, and that's no good for your business either. So with Constant Contact, yes, designers aren't going to like it because you are restrained, you're constrained into what makes good practice. And so yes, there's layouts that you can choose from and you just pull them across and put your content in, but you can't switch things around because they've been designed to give the best user experience for your website visitors. So you can't go wrong. It's a good thing. So you try and fit it around what the layout allows you to do. So I hope that's been helpful, and if you want some help designing a website, then I do design them, and I also teach people how to build a website in Constant Contact in my super easy website course. Or if you want to stick to the same old WordPress, then I also have a course for that still exists. and please get in touch. Speak to you soon. Bye.